11. Ecclesiastical principalities. It now remains to discuss ecclesiastical principalities, and here the difficulties which have to be faced occur before the ruler is established, in that such principalities are won by prowess or by fortune, but are kept without the help of either. They are maintained, in fact, by religious institutions, so powerfully mature that, no matter how the ruler acts and lives, they safeguard his government. Ecclesiastical princes alone possess states and do not defend them, subjects and do not govern them. And though their states are not defended, they are not taken away from them, and their subjects, being without government, do not worry about it, and neither can nor hope to overthrow it in favor of another. So these principalities alone are secure and happy. But as they are sustained by higher powers, which the human mind cannot comprehend, I shall not argue about them. They are exalted and maintained by God, and so only a rash and presumptuous man would take it on himself to discuss them. Nonetheless, if anyone should ask me how it is that the Church has attained such great temporal power, inasmuch as up to the time of Alexander, the Italian potentates, and not only those who are called potentates, but every baron and nobleman, even the pettiest, set it at naught. But now a king of France trembles before it, and it has been able to chase him out of Italy and ruin the Venetians. I should not think it superfluous to recall to some extent how it happened, even though the story is well known. Before Charles, King of France, invaded Italy, that country was ruled by the Pope, the Venetians, the King of Naples, the Duke of Milan, and the Florentines. These powers necessarily had two main preoccupations. The one, that no armed foreign power should invade Italy. The other, that no one power among themselves should enlarge its dominion. Those who had especially to be watched were the Pope and the Venetians. To hold the Venetians in check, an alliance of all the others was necessary, as was the case in the defense of Ferrara. And to pin down the Pope, use was made of the Roman barons. As these were split into two factions, Orsini and Colonna, there was always scope for dissension between them. And while they remained armed before the very eyes of the pontiff, they kept the papacy weak and insecure. Although sometimes a spirited pope, such as Sixtus, might come along, even such a man could never rid himself of this nuisance, for all his good fortune or statecraft. This was because of the brevity of a pope's reign. In the 10 years that, on average, a pope ruled, he scarcely had time to crush one of the factions, and then, for example, if one pope had almost managed to destroy the Colonna, another came along hostile to the Orsini, so ensuring the resurgence of the Colonna, and yet did not have time enough to destroy the Orsini. This meant that the temporal power of the Pope was little respected in Italy. But then came the reign of Alexander VI, and he, more than any other pontiff who has ever lived, showed how much a pope could achieve with money and armed force. With Duke Valentino as his instrument, and the invasion by the French as his occasion, he brought about all those things I discussed above regarding the Duke's activities. Although his aim was the aggrandizement of the Duke, not of the Church, nonetheless what he did increased the greatness of the Church. And after his death, when the Duke had been destroyed, the Church inherited the fruits of his labors. Then came Pope Julius. He found the Church already great, possessing the Romagna, with the Roman barons destroyed, and, as a result of Alexander's vigor, the factions wiped out. And he also found ready to hand a means of accumulating wealth which had not been employed before Alexander. Julius not only continued but also improved on all these things. He planned to win Bologna for himself, and to crush the Venetians, and to chase the French out of Italy. He succeeded in all his enterprises, and earned all the more credit inasmuch as he did everything for the aggrandizement of the Church, and not for any individual. He also kept the Orsini and the Colonna factions in the same condition as he had found them. And although among these there were some leaders disposed to make trouble, two things held them in check. The one, the greatness of the Church, which overawed them. The other, their being without cardinals, who caused the tumults among them. These factions will never stay quiet when they have their own cardinals, because the latter stir up feuds, both in Rome and outside, and those barons are bound to come to the aid of their own side, and so conflicts and tumults among the barons are provoked by the ambition of the prelates. Now, His Holiness Pope Leo found the papacy in an extremely strong position, and it is our hope that his immediate predecessors, having established its greatness by force of arms, he, by the goodness and countless other virtues, will make it very great and revered.